So in our tropical greenhouse here, we got down to 10 degrees 2 nights ago. Last night it said it was going to get down to 14, and it only got down to 24. I don't know how the weather people were so off on that one. They were spot on the 10 degrees. And check this out. We got a bunch of plants in the ground in here. And we got a bunch of stuff in pots too. So the snow was piled all up on here. See, there's still a little bit. This thing gets a little bit of shade in the winter time because the sun is coming hard angle that way. Summertime, the sun comes straight across. But this was filled with snow, and the whole top of the roof was leaning down. So there was 6 inches of snow, 7 inches of snow on the top. It's a lot of weight, a few thousand pounds. And we chose not to get the lateral supports, which basically is just for snow load. I mean, nothing broke, so I'm very happy about that, but I was concerned. But we're not in an area that really gets snow. The most snow we ever had before this was like 2 inches, and this one was just absolutely ridiculous. 10 degrees, 5 degrees colder than ever before. At least this in my time living here. We've been here almost 8 years. And we got like 7-8 inches of snow, so that's pretty crazy there. But the potted trees look pretty good. We had an issue here. So we have a few methods of heating. One, we're just running a sprinkler, and a sprinkler over there and right here. And that first night when it got really cold, for some reason this fell down to the ground. I had to, the ones outside that we got like this, I had to screw in, which I really should have did that over here. Kind of late now, but I think mostly everything's okay. You can kind of tell some of that fresh growth, like on that lychee, another lychee or longan. Those look about the same. I have to look at the tag. That's a lychee. I can see the tag from here. That fresh growth looks kind of sad. So that fresh growth is really sensitive. But everything else looks pretty good. I mean, I'm not seeing anything to be too crazy concerned about. It can take, potentially a couple days for that cold to really show on the plants if they took damage. The leaves might look okay one day, and then it'll just start progressively getting worse, and then they could fall off. But falling off doesn't necessarily mean that the tree's dead. You can do a scratch test and see green. I mean, really, this stuff takes a little bit of time. You may have a few weeks where you're thinking it's dead, and then maybe it pops back up. May even potentially have to wait till springtime. But, the greenhouse will show stuff earlier because it's going to get hot in here with day with the sun out. Even when it's really cold outside, it could get to 90 degrees in here potentially. But here's the other sprinkler. So this was covering this area. Really hitting these Jamaican cherries, which has been growing like crazy. There's some over there in the pots. And check out these in the ground. Just everything grows better in the ground. But these were 14 foot tall a couple days ago, and they've just kind of leaned over. I'm thinking the water weight, but the cold definitely could have something to do with that. See, this is probably the most cold sensitive tree we got in here, the soursop. We'll see what happens. I'm not super confident that one's going to make it. But, still seeing some green in here. It definitely took a lot of damage. But this one was kind of looking a little sad when we got in the upper 20s. Really, the tag says 40 degrees on this one, and there's no way to maintain this greenhouse at above 40 degrees. when you're in the lower 20s or at 10 degrees. I mean, you just can't do it. But a lot of the other stuff looks good. That was already dead. The Java de Caba looks really good. So over here on this side, we had this going on. 3 oil-filled heaters. And this has been my main source of heat on the not so cold nights. So each one puts out like 5,000 BTU. So all 3 of them, that's 15,000 BTU. It's for this giant greenhouse. It's really absolutely nothing. But when you're in the upper 20s, it might just be enough just to keep it above freezing in here. Now, when you're dipping in the lower 20s or the teens, you got to add some propane heat. So we got these Mr. heaters. Now, the first night we had one of the Mr. heaters on here and on one of these, and that was hooked up to the crawfish boiler. And one of these ran out of fuel, and somehow I had that valve just barely cracked open. And somehow that valve just closed in the middle of the night. I really don't like doing this crawfish burner. I want to get a double one of these Mr. heaters and put that on the big tank. I just bought that big tank. It's a 10 gallon instead of a 5 gallon. But, you know, I think everything is okay. Some of this stuff can take cold a little bit better than other things. And then had the fans going. I just turned those off. The fans to push the hot air over here, and then the sprinklers to just kind of cover everything. So I'll keep an update. See in a few days what looks like it died and what looks like it's okay. Hopefully we only had a few deaths of the plants. Then we got stuff outside too, so we got a bunch of citrus outside. See how that does. Give y'all an update.